What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So what we know right now is that there is still a lot of groups out there that are wanting more stimulus. And I'm not talking about a stimulus check. I am talking about actual relief. And some of this could be potentially very big. So I want to explain why more stimulus is needed and why more help could be coming. Okay? Because this is somebody that is directly from the Biden administration. We're going to actually address the Senate's economic plan, what they are discussing right now. Going to talk about potential relief to farmers and also give you a quick little update on the bird flu because this actually has impacted one person. So we will address that in just a minute. First off, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful Friday. If you could spend 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, and let's get started. Now, honestly, when people say that they still haven't recovered from the past 2 years of this pandemic, I'm not shocked. And I'm not shocked because there's been a lot of gaps in relief. And because of this, there has not been any consistency over the past 2 years. Businesses get funding, lower income households potentially get funding, Social Security gets screwed, you got, people in other countries that are getting money, illegal immigrants are getting more assistance than the American people, a lot of issues. Now, even though we can't guarantee the struggles are over, one thing is certain, and that is that there will be more negative shocks to our economy as we get possibly out of this pandemic, right? As we potentially get out of this potential recessionary period. Again, a lot of issues. Now, here's something that was said yesterday by the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. She said large negative shocks are inevitable and that our policymakers have learned from the Great Recession that we must get out of these economic downturns as quickly as possible. Well, she also went on to say this, and I want to be very clear on this. Okay? What she's saying here is she is pretty much saying we should spend more money. But let me read this to you. She says, countries will fare better if their economies are more resilient and less fragile. Improved understanding of breaks in supply chains, increases in commodity prices, bursting of asset bubbles, and labor and productivity shocks can help policymakers implement reforms that bolster our economic resilience. Now, this is why she believes that additional stimulus would be a benefit to our economy. She doesn't believe that passing President Biden's economic agenda, that Build Back Better Act, that this would cause any additional inflation. She believes that this would actually help and bring inflation down, which it might. But that's a risk that Democrats right now do not want to take is, what if it doesn't and it pushes inflation back up? Then what? Well, she also says that things like renters assistance and homeowners assistance should be continued. Okay? She believes this because we have to guarantee people have a place to live. Now, whether this happens or not, I don't know, but we will see. But at this time, honestly, it's still unclear which directions Democrats even want to go. We don't know. We know that a few Senate Democrats don't want to pass a social spending bill, but they could jump on board with additional housing, according to multiple reports. We could also see that we will see all spending go directly towards climate and deficit reduction. Okay, well then, if we do that and go that route, which is more likely, then we wouldn't see any additional relief for housing. So, and this is the thing you need to keep in mind, is that the majority of Americans, especially lower income households and middle income households, they spend the majority of their income on shelter, on rent, on mortgages. That's what it goes to. And let me just, and if you have an idea, okay, because one of the things that we're told by financial experts, okay, by advisors, is we shouldn't be spending more than 30% of our income on housing, okay? But let me know, are you over that or are you actually under that 30% rule? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, what we do know is that Democrats recently announced that they will be going after oil companies to try to bring the price down for oil. Now, for many, the price of gas isn't the biggest shock. This isn't the big issue. This isn't what shocks your budget. Food is. Okay, shelter is. However, for Democrats, they say that they understand that the price of gas is going to dictate how successful they are in this year's midterm elections. So I've been saying this before. It's not going to be about what's best for the American people per se. It's going to be more about what does it look like and how is this going to be perceived when the American people go to vote this coming year. Honestly, this is what's troubling about our government is it's all about the elections. That's the big thing, the elections. And that's what's so screwed up. Now, oil prices are a huge concern. Okay, they are a big concern for Democrats and for the American people. But this again is just the start of things. There's a lot of issues out there. Shortages are one of them, and this is something I've been talking about for a while. For example, just yesterday, Reuters actually reported how labor shortages are leaving trains sit idle with grain and food just left stranded. And some rail carriers have said that there's a bunch of issues that are all piling up on each other, such as labor shortages, oil prices, extreme weather, and even the surge in shipping demand that has carried over from 2021. Now again, all these things combined is what's making shipping so difficult at this time and causing it to be more expensive, which means you and I are paying more money every time we go to the store. Now, according to reports, the Biden administration has a plan. The Biden administration, they want to see wheat get produced a little bit more because crops have been impacted. We know that the Biden administration is currently looking at Congress to try to provide about $500 million for the farm sector. The Biden administration says they would like to see the $500 million included into that $33 billion for Ukraine because it kind of all ties in together. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen. But the goal behind this is to have farmers at least agree to double crop their fields. Now, here's how this would pay out. Of the $500 million to farmers, $100 million would go directly to the farmers at a rate of $10 per acre as an incentive to plant more crops. So, whether or not this happens, I don't know, but this is one of the things that the Biden administration is asking for. So, we will see if that actually goes through. Now, in other food-related news, as I said earlier, there has been one report of the first human who has contracted the bird flu. Now, this was actually a farm worker, a prison-released farm worker that was doing this. It was on a commercial farm down in Colorado who was working directly with infected poultry. That poultry, okay, it's no more. We lost it all. Okay, but the CDC has maintained that the bird flu in humans still has a very low risk. Now, I'm not saying go and eat a infected, chicken or whatever. Okay, but what the CDC is saying is it still has a very low risk. The only problem is what happens if it combines with something else. What happens if it, attacks or you get infected with the bird flu and you have COVID? That could potentially be another big issue. So we'll see what goes on with all that. But as of right now, that's what we know. All right. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.